Welcome to AI Pulse, your daily briefing on everything important that's happening in AI. Today is March 12th, and what a day it's been. We saw a top AI company basically go head-to-head with the military, a tech giant give its AIs some brand new senses, and a wild plan to build 1 million humanoid robots. So let's get into it. It's a pace that is just impossible to keep up with. It feels like the entire landscape can shift in just 24 hours. It really was a day packed with confrontations and some pretty huge breakthroughs. We're talking about everything from corporate ethics to the future of robotics. So let's start with the big standoff. Okay, so our first story today is a really big one. This is a true clash of titans, pitting one of the world's most important AI companies, Anthropic, against the United States military. And really, it all boils down to one simple question: who gets to control the code? Wow. So that's how former President Trump described Anthropic's choice to tell the Pentagon, no, you can't have unrestricted use of our AI. This wasn't some behind-the-scenes negotiation. Nope, this was a very public statement that absolutely set off a firestorm. And here's where it all broke down. On one side, you had Anthropic. They insisted on these hard-coded ethical guardrails, basically drawing a line in the sand on certain military uses. But on the other side, the Pentagon was equally firm. They said, look, in a national emergency, we need total access for all lawful purposes. There was just no middle ground, and so the talks completely collapsed. And the fallout came fast. The government slapped Anthropic with a supply chain risk label, which is a huge deal, by the way. It put billions of dollars at risk and, of course, really spooked their big corporate customers. But then, something totally unexpected happened. The public seemed to rally behind them, and for the first time ever, their Claude app shot to #1 on the App Store. Just incredible. So while that whole political drama was unfolding, Google was fighting a completely different battle, one about capability. They were focused on basically expanding what AI can even understand in the first place. And the key idea here is something called multimodality. For the longest time, AI was all about text, right? But the real world, our world, is filled with sights and sounds. It's all video and images. Multimodality is all about teaching AI to process all of that stuff together, a lot more like a person does. And just today, Google dropped 2 massive new tools to push this forward. First is Gemini Embedding 2. Think of it like a universal translator for data. It turns images, audio, video, you name it, into numbers so you can search across all of it. Then you've got Gemma 3, which can look at images and text and actually generate new answers. That's a huge leap for generative AI. So what this all means is that Google isn't just building a smarter AI brain, they're building the eyes and the ears to go with it. By giving these powerful tools to developers, they are kickstarting a whole new wave of apps that can understand our world in a much, much richer way. Which, of course, brings us to the phone in your pocket. We're seeing all these incredible new AI powers, but how are they actually showing up in our daily lives? Well, if you ask some critics, the answer is they're not really. At least, not yet. I mean, check out this gap in intelligence. With Apple's AI, you can screenshot a flyer for a concert and bam, it automatically creates a calendar event. Super cool. But if you screenshot a handwritten note that just says, call the plumber, it does nothing. It's like the AI can recognize an event, but it can't understand a simple intention. One critic really nailed it with this quote: "It's an unfinished thought." The weird thing is, the tech to do this is already on the phone. Apple's whole thing has always been that seamless integration. But right here, the connection between what the phone can see and what it can help you do just feels incomplete. All right, let's shift gears completely. We're going from the software in our pockets to the hardware in our factories. For our last story, we're talking about Tesla, which just made a massive statement about its future. And it has a lot less to do with cars than you might think. 1 million. Let that sink in. That is how many Optimus humanoid robots Tesla plans to build every single year. Just to give you some perspective, the entire global market for all industrial robots is only about half of that. This is not a science fair project. This is a plan for mass production on a scale nobody has ever seen before. And would you look at this timeline? It's unbelievably aggressive. We just saw the 3rd-gen robot. Mass production is supposed to start this year, and by the end of next year, you might actually be able to buy one of these things. Tesla is just moving at an absolutely breakneck speed. And hey, if you had any doubt about how serious they are, this should clear it up. Tesla is shutting down the production lines for two of its most famous cars, the Model S and the Model X, just so they can retool the factories for Optimus. This is an all-in bet on a future run by humanoid robots. So let's take a quick step back and try to make sense of all this. You've got a government standoff, brand new senses for AI, and a plan for 1 million robots. These might seem like random, disconnected stories, but trust me, they're all pieces of the same giant puzzle. When you connect all the dots from today, 3 big themes really pop out. First, there's the battle for control, this huge fight over who gets to write the rules for AI. Then there's the relentless race for new capabilities, making AI that can perceive the world way more deeply. And finally, there's the messy, complicated path to integration, the real challenge of getting all this power out of the lab and into our actual lives. And that really leaves us with one final, huge question to think about. After seeing everything that happened today, who do you think is really in charge here? Is it the companies building the AI, the governments trying to control it, or the hardware makers who are about to unleash 1 million robots into the world? Honestly, after a day like today, that answer seems more up for grabs than ever.